So I got a job. What? The last time I made a video, which was also the first time I made a video titled similarly an honest check-in, I had just gotten out of a job interview. So let's start off with the same topic. I got a job. It is a part-time retail job. I like the number of hours per week. I'm just experiencing a little bit of nervousness and anxiety because of the the timing of the shifts. It is very early morning. Well, for me, it's very early. Prepping the store before it opens, like that kind of early, okay? And it's also like a 20-30 minute drive from me, but it is somewhere that I enjoy. This process went by very smoothly, and I felt good about the vibes, because sometimes you just know whether it's over the phone or in the interview, the vibes, right? But this time, good vibes actually. I didn't have to go look at my cards, because the last time I had talked about work or job applying, it was 2 or 3 videos ago. It's in my video titled Expanding While Fun Employed. And what I talked about there was how I no-showed a job interview because something was off, right? But this time I felt really good about it. I didn't even pull my cards or anything. Maybe I'll pull them a little bit or before I get started, like my start date. Never doubt your intuition. Never doubt your intuition and use tools. So for me, my tools are like tarot cards. Never doubt your intuition and use tools if you feel like something's off. I will say though, before I had gotten that job offer, I was pretty just not feeling good. I was feeling a lot of confusion. I felt very confused and lost about my purpose and my role in this world. I don't know if I've shared this with you all, but I've always had some kind of entrepreneurial spirit. I like to think so. Or maybe I'm just spiritual, and entrepreneurship is a very spiritual path. But I've always had that fire in me, like entrepreneurial, not wanting to work for others, and working for myself, doing things on my own. I was clouded by a lot of just confusion, because even though I have that fire in me, I think I tend to get a bit stuck on the how, right? So when I was a very young little girl, and even up until high school, I wanted to start a business. I said, create something, sell it, get rich. Little did I know it's actually not that easy. I'll say easy, but not simple, because things can be simple, but they're not necessarily easy. And then when I grew more into it, and I learned about production and ethics, labor ethics, sourcing ethics, I kind of went, I don't know if I really want to sell something, or if I do make a product, how can I do this as ethically as possible? It's a very nuanced thing. Like, there's a lot to explore, like making something, producing something, the labor that goes into that, and then the labor that goes into everything else under a CEO or founder. So there's that. And then the more that I grew up, I was like, okay, if I'm gonna make something, I'm not gonna just make it, sell it, get rich. Like, I want to make impact. I want to make good impact on the world, on the planet, or other people. Like, I want to make impact. But bottom line is, I just want to be paid to exist. And a lot of the stuff that I've been seeing lately, at least on TikTok, of people saying, this is how I get paid to exist. I get paid to exist. Every freaking person that says that has a service-based business. Like, they're a coach, trainer, consultant, something, like one-on-one meetings, or they have a freaking course or some ebook right? They won't really tell you anything except sign up for my course, get my ebook, book with me, book a session with me, link in bio, link in caption. And you know what? I have nothing against these people. I have nothing against these kinds of businesses. But if you're saying, oh, you can get paid to exist, you can get paid to exist, but showing that the only way to get paid to exist is having a service-based business, then I'm like, because I know me personally, deep down, I don't want to do a service-based business. At least not right now, not at this point in my life. They'll say things like, I get paid to exist, I get paid to exist. And then someone in the comments says, okay, but how does that actually manifest? And then most of these people, oh, it's, through an unexpected client. That was not a fart. That was me, like, hitting my knee, hitting my leg. But, like, I don't know if a service-based business is my thing. At this point in my life, I don't want to do that. And also, I don't even know what I have to offer, what kind of ethos, credentials I have, because at this point in my life, I don't really want to go back to school. I just kind of, all the confusion and I guess, like, identity crisis or existential crisis really came to me, because it's like, okay, if I were going to be an entrepreneur, it seems like the only way to do it is to make something, like a tangible product, or, like consumer goods, or service-based. I know those are not the only two options, but at the time, like last week, it felt like those were the only two options. And it really just felt so heavy, because they say that, and when I say they, I mean especially like creative coaches, artistry coaches, entrepreneurial coaches, they say that the how is the thing that you have to let go of. But obviously first you have to have the systems there, but I don't know what kind of systems I want. Like, I just know I want to be paid to exist, and I want to make impact on the world. Because, like, I don't want to do service-based business, taking clients. And like I said, I don't really know what I have to offer. And then that hit me, like, what do I even have to offer, even outside of that context? Like, I don't know what I have to offer. Do I need to have something to offer? Can't I just exist? Like, is this not good enough? Yeah, that's been something that's on my mind lately, or just a big topic of reflection. I don't know what I have to offer. I just know I want to make an impact. Positive impact. I don't even know if I'm making any impacts. I just want to fast forward to my birthday, honestly. Because my birthday is when, astrologically, I enter my first house perfection year. And next year, 2026, is also going to be a year one. Because this 23, y'all, I'm over it. I'm not going to say it's awful, like a lot of astrologers may fearmonger, but it's definitely been uncomfortable. And my Time Lord, not only this year, but even last year, has been my 4th house, Saturn. Saturn and 4th house, it's been hard. It's been a really hard year and 3 quarters. 3 more months to my birthday. But it's been really hard because these perfection years are spot on. I've been in the house. I've been mainly in the house during 22 and 23. And next year I just want to be out. I want to be out. I want to have a more solid identity. Just be more out. This is me trying to remind myself that what I'm going through right now, what I'm feeling right now, is just a phase. It's let it pass. But yeah, the 12th house perfection year, and during a year 9, I keep shaking things. 2025 is a year 9. So it's endings on endings on endings on endings on endings, and it's the year of the snake, and I'm a year of the snake. Endings are just a very big theme for me. I have a 12th house stellium, year of the snake. I was born under a balsamic waning crescent, which is like the last phase of the moon cycle before new moon. So Endings on endings on endings. Can we just fast forward to my birthday? Let's skip all these holidays. Let's take the hearts out. Let's take out all the Valentine's Day things, but let's make everything pink and red and purple, cuz purple is the color of the amethyst, which is the birthstone of February. Yeah, I'm a February baby. Let's fast forward to my first house perfection year. Actually, let's just skip all these seasons. Let's just skip to February. Actually, it's my journal. The journal is by Minimalism Art. There's actually a name here. It says Minimalism Art established San Francisco something something, but I covered it with my stickers. This sticker. These stickers are by Marcos Alvarado. Another theme that has been pretty big for me is relationships of all sorts, but mainly romantic and platonic, especially platonic. One thing that I've really been reflecting on when it comes to friendships, especially female friendships and sisterhood, and you know what I didn't like in the past and what I want in the future. Hold on, I journaled it. Let me see if I can find it, because this is something that has been on my mind for a while. And if you've got insight or thoughts about this, I would love to hear it, read about it in the comments. Sometimes I worry. I say that I'm learning to carry myself and hold myself, but where is the fine line between that independence and hyper independence? It's important and healthy to develop that strong relationship with myself, but sometimes I worry I might be bottling things up again because I feel like I'm too much. What I really wanted to highlight was, where do you draw that boundary of someone who's very self-assured, has a very strong self-identity, and that can, you can carry yourself and hold space for yourself. But also, how do you distinguish that versus hyper independence and, I guess, being very guarded? That's something that I'm gonna say observing. That's something that I'm observing. I'm not gonna say I'm working through that, because there's really no one to work through it with. Like I said, I cut off a lot of people. I distanced myself from a lot of people. I still have like one or two friends, but they are far away. They're like hundreds of miles away from me, so it's not like I can just go drive and pick them up, unless I can like go drive to the airport and get on a plane. And yeah, that's been something that I have been observing, reevaluating friendship wise, is where do you draw that fine line of I can hold myself and carry my weight versus being just, I guess, hyper independent and guarded. Just to further elaborate, it's like, where do you draw that fine line of someone who is very self-assured, confident, versus someone who is hyper independent, guarded, basically operating in a state of fear? Because as someone who is self-assured, I don't know if that's the perfect word for it, but stay with me here. Someone who is self-assured, like, they also understand that genuine, meaningful connections include, opening up, being vulnerable. Because honestly, I was a pretty open book, but I also know that there is a lot of healing in just talking about things. But after, distancing myself from a lot of people and really taking a step back and being more intentional about what I share and who I share with, sometimes I'm like, okay, is this me backing up into a corner of hyper independence and being very guarded and avoidant? Does that make sense? Maybe I just won't truly know until I meet someone or really practice that in a relationship with another person, when I'm not in hermit mode, isolating myself from everyone. I think I touched on the things that I wanted to touch on, which was job/work and then purpose. It's really hard for me to move without purpose. If I don't know the bigger why to why I'm doing things, especially like working a job, which I'm like telling myself, okay, this is not forever. Like the job I'm going to start, this is not forever. This is momentarily. We're going to get some, dependable, predictable income, but I'm not going to be here forever. And also around purpose, another thing that I just really have to keep reminding myself is that there is so much background work, things in the background, or just things unfolding in a universe that I can't physically see, but they are things working for me. And literally anything can change. Anything can happen. Like Ellie Goulding said, anything can happen. I went off a tangent, huh? What was I saying? Yes, I wanted to cover work, job, purpose, and relationships, mainly friendship. If you made it this far, like this video, subscribe to my channel, comment that you love me, repost this video, download it, share it, save it. What am I missing? And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye. Love you.